No one wants to be stuck in a lifelong renovation. Today I'll be going over how to plan for a tight schedule renovation, so stick with me. Hi, I'm Emmanuel. Welcome to If I Can, You Can, the channel where if I can do it, you can do it too. I go over real estate investing and home renovations. As always, if you like this content, please like and subscribe below, leave a comment. I always hear what you have to say. And today I'm going to be going over how to plan for a tight schedule on a renovation. First thing is you want to set up your objective. We usually deal with investors and adding value, but that may not be what everyone's trying to do. So are you looking at just increasing the aesthetic, adding value, making something more functional? Determine what the ultimate objective is. That way you can make a game plan on that. Then focus on what's the most impactful thing that you want to do first. Is it the kitchens? Is it the bathrooms? Do you want to add a pool in the backyard? Do you want to redo the bedrooms? Identify what's the most important thing to you. And then you want to create realistic timelines for each thing. So if you're going to paint the house, hey, heck, that could be done in a couple of days. Be realistic with it, but also keep in mind other elements. Now, let's use that for example, painting the exterior of the house. Great, you may need to do some sanding, put some filler in there, replace a couple of the, hardy planks on the outside, whatever. Now let's say that's in the middle of winter and it's 14 degrees outside. You can't do that. The paint will not adhere correctly. You're gonna have a bunch of problems. You cannot paint in super cold weather. I mean, maybe there's some stuff out there, you're gonna do it. Every time I've heard about it, it's just nothing but problems. So you need to do it during the appropriate time of the year and set realistic timelines for when that happens. Because if you have it all prepped and you have to wait 6 months until you can actually paint, like I said, realistic timelines, make sure you take that into account. Then you're gonna make sure that you use good contractors that are skilled. I already made a video about how to go through and find a good contractor. Look at that, it'll tell you everything that you need to know. Make sure you get a good contractor, check their availability. Make sure they're able to come out when you need them to come out. And then have a backup plan. Find out, hey, what am I gonna do if there's a shortage in the supplies that I want? What am I gonna do if the weather comes in? What am I gonna do if they have a staffing issue? Heck, what am I gonna do if they run out of business completely? Do you have a backup for that? I don't have one roofer. I have 2-3 roofers that I use in case I call one of them and it goes to a deadline. It's just better to have backups for things than not. So make sure to have 2-3 people listed out in case something like that happens. And in the case of weather, you may just have to back it up a couple days or do some interior work versus exterior work, or just wait. I have a project that needs to get done. It has to have cement poured, but it's way too cold outside to do that. We're just gonna have to wait. Other thing too is you may have to pivot on supplies. Let's say that you wanted a certain lighting fixture that needed to be installed and you want it throughout the house. Either you're gonna have and if it doesn't come in on time and they take all your lighting fixtures out, you're gonna have a dark house with a bunch of power out to make sure it doesn't pop into circuit breakers or burn down your house, and you'll be waiting on those. You may have to get something similar that is more accessible sooner, or because you don't want them to show up to your house and you don't have any of the supplies to have it installed. That is not a good thing to do. It makes for bad stuff with the contractors because you're just wasting their time. Ask them what some potential problems can be. Do a walk through them, an inspection. Have things prepared in your mind. 99% of this is gonna be just repairing it. Hey, if you're gonna take down a wall, hey, what happens if I open up this wall and there's mold behind there? What happens if I open it up and there's an electrical wire behind it? Have all that discussion, because you don't want to be debating with your spouse or yourself or whatever it is on what to do if you find something behind the wall that you weren't expecting, because that's just more time that's going to take for the contractor to do the job. And then don't wait on the materials. Source them quickly. Know where you want to get them from. Make sure they have them on stock, and heck, put it in an order if you need to. getting the materials is half the battle. If I've had to go through this with windows, and I mean, I had a line on the windows. I should have put the order in for it once upon a time, and literally 12 hours later, they were all out of stock. Had I put it in the day prior, I would have been golden, but I didn't do that, and I was paying the price afterward. Thankfully, I was able to source a bunch of windows, but make sure that you have the supplies. That way, because nothing else could have got done without the windows being in stock, and it kind of held up the entirety of the operation. So streamlining the communication process, you want to make sure you have a detailed plan. They know, and it written down, and between you and them in a contract. So it says, hey, you know what? I'm going to fix the wall here. I'm going to patch it up. Make sure it says what it is, because sometimes what you think is they meant versus what they think they meant are two completely different things. If they say they're going to fix the wall and it's just putting some patching on there versus, hey, I got to cut out a piece of drywall, I got to put this, there's a hole in the wall and they got to fill in that hole and patch that up, two completely different things. So make sure they know what they're they know what they're going to do, you know what they're going to do. It's written out somewhere, and then have them where they can take pictures and send to you if you want to. Some of the databases, some of the apps they use will allow them to take pictures and update you and show you pictures of the progress, and especially if you're doing it out of state. And then just ask for regular check-ins too. Hey, just let me know what's going on. Do you have any issues? Heck, I'd rather have my contractor tell me issues sooner than later. When you know about the issues ahead of schedule, you have more time to react and get them back and keep it working. And then you're going to want to manage your budget tightly. You don't want to spend triple the amount of money to do it. It's all going to be based on what you want to have done. But if you're doing it from an investment point, you're going to want to focus on the cosmetic stuff. Stuff like painting, replacing light fixtures, replacing fans, installing new flooring. Stuff like that can be done in a couple of days. It's a really, really quick process. And then at the end of it, it has a lot of value on the backside. People love coming into a house that has a fresh coat of paint and brand new floors and new light fixtures. It will make it look 9-day different. Same thing with doorknobs on and hinges on the doors. If you have nice new ones instead of those old goldish ones, amazing. Do take the time to consider those when you're doing renovations. And like I said, make sure you have backup plans. If you open up a wall and find a bunch of mold, or you need to have insulation installed because they never installed it when they built the house, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And I get it, most of you out there don't do this on a very frequent basis, but do whatever you can. Heck, jump online and look up what can happen if I open up a wall, if I go to replace, the tile in my shower. Look at all that stuff so you may be able to expect what could go wrong with it. It's the best thing you can do to put yourself in the best position not to drag out that renovation. And then finally, the final touches and the cleanup. This is the bane of my existence, because every time I try to get a contractor to come in and do the touch-ups or the blue tape inspection, the punch list stuff, they don't want to do it. I've heard of contractors going out there, and thankfully I have good enough relationship with my contractors that I got a guy that will do it. But I've had to fight pretty big battles before on this, and I get it. I know people that will forego that last portion of the payment. Let's say you still owe them 10-20% for them to complete the little blue tape walkthrough, and that's a last iteration of their payment, maybe $3-4 grand. I know people that will forego that and not come back and do the blue tape because it is not worth their time. And I understand that, because when you're paying a lot of money, those last little trim pieces just take forever to get right. And when you're paying that much money, you want them to be perfect. Problem is with rehab or renovating, and houses in particular, nothing's perfect. Walls are crooked, paint kind of doesn't adhere correctly, drywall get a little funky on you. All this stuff can happen, and for someone to come in and spend almost a week trying to paint and touch up here and there, making everything perfect to what your specifications were, they have better things to do. They'll go do another job and make another $10,000 in that week, then come in here and make $2,000 that you still owe them. So I do understand it from their side, and it is hard for people that do get renovations done. If that has ever happened to you, that is the reason why. It literally is. Make sure that you have something set up where you know they're going to come back and do it, or you have someone who specializes in doing the little touch-ups here and there, and then afterward cleaning up. Guess what? Most construction stuff, they don't come in and clean up afterward. You're going to have to go in and replace the AC filter because all that dust is going to go in there, and they have special companies out there that just do construction cleanup. Look into those people, have them lined up. That way you can get everything cleaned up and move back into your house and be happy with what you just had done. That's all I have for right now. Now, if you like that content, please like and subscribe below. Leave me a comment. I always want to hear what you have to say. But for right now, that's all I have. I'll see you in the next one.